Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. Yes, a little bit past 8 p.m. on the East Coast. So happy to be here. And it's an AMA. I wasn't here yesterday. Yesterday, I was yapping on X, on one of the X spaces, talking about the Democratic Party and how we can, or even if we should, try to somehow rehabilitate them and make them better in some way, shape, or form. Very interesting. If you happen to see it, you can head over to She Is Lauren Lee on X, and you can check that out if you want to listen to that. A little bit over an hour. Interesting conversation back and forth. But it made me think about today. And at the same time today, I happened to see a poll. And the poll was not by me. I put the questions out here, but the poll wasn't by me. It was actually by Michael Smerconish. For those of you who don't know, Smerconish has a weekend show Saturdays at 9 a.m. on CNN. And the poll was, I'll show it to you real fast, if I can get it here. Hold on. The poll asked the question basically that I asked, which was, there we go. Which must the Democratic Party improve most to effectively confront President Trump? Issues, messaging, or leadership? That's what mattered. And whichever you put, whatever you want, and you vote. And it popped up there, and tons of people voted. And I just thought, okay, it's going to be interesting. Now, I always about leadership. I'm going to put leadership. That's going to be my vote, and we'll see what we get. And boom, most people said leadership, as I did. The next was messaging. The last was issues. Now, why would that happen? Well, clearly reason. Most people who watch CNN are Democrats. So with that in mind, they're probably not going to say issues because they agree with most of the issues Democrats are talking about, right? They're Democrats. So most of them agree with that. So they wouldn't say that. So they're going to say leadership or messaging. I'm a little surprised that leadership actually won that poll. A little surprised. I thought messaging would have. I thought most of the people in the Democratic Party would have liked Democratic leadership. Boy, is that not true. And I'm glad because it's embarrassingly bad. And I've been saying it for how long? I've been saying it since the election last year, right? Since they lost the election, I have been saying they have terrible leadership, and they do. That's an accurate statement. But not just that. They're trying to figure out what to do. I get it. They should have been figuring it out, I don't know, months ago, but fine. Now they're sitting here saying, okay, I don't know what to do. So let's try to be with the cool kids. And some of you have seen this. I just got to show a little bit of it because this goes back to what I was talking about with leadership and messaging. And this, of course, is their viral video for female leadership. And this was lampooned by, of course, TYT. Choose your character. And here's the best part. This was with their strengths and weaknesses, and they think they're being cool. And her strengths are bento box queen, mommy of the century, and the weakness is sleep deprived. She put that. Like that mattered. So not only is this dumb and bad, but even the things they put, she didn't put passed this bill or supported this thing or fought in a war. No. It's, I like bento boxes and I'm a mom. See, that's how awesome I am. Which is, I'm not mad at her for being a mom, but there's lots of moms who do great work as moms. That doesn't make you a super. And sleep deprived? Yeah, join the club. There are a lot of people who have 2 and 3 jobs, and they don't have time to do this stupid shit, and they're sleep deprived. Not impressive. And we go on. And of course, mine. Her superpower is New York's 14th congressional district. That's a superpower. And youngest woman and Latina, so she checks 2 boxes, not just one. Mike, I know you love box checking. She checks 2 of them. Actually 3. Young woman Latina. That's 3. That's her superpower. And her negative, she's a Trekkie. Okay, first off, she's not a real Trekkie, and it's not a minus for Star Trek. That's a good thing. But yes. But even doing it, she can't take it seriously. She doesn't, it's not, right? Right? You're not a gamer. You have no idea how this works. Why are you doing this? Yeah. Now she's the youngest black woman elected to Congress. See, the other one's the youngest Latina. She's the youngest black woman, which makes her great. And she co-founded the Black Maternal Office. This is her strengths. These are strengths. Not I did anything, I have a plan. No. The strengths are I'm a thing. That's the strengths. And hates balloons. What are you doing? Okay, she's the House Minority Whip. That's a strength, I guess. She's a Massachusetts 5th Congressional District. That's a strength. She's not into hair dye. What? So this is these who I'm picking as my fighters. I'm picking fighters who think they're establishment or DI. Either one. That's what they're saying. I'm establishment and I check boxes. They have learned nothing. She, of course, is California's district. I don't know why. Her superpower was she's the first Chinese American. Man, they are checking. They got all the boxes checked. Okay, this is our leadership. If you're a Democrat, this is our warriors. They're fighting for us. Yeah, too sweet. And she's Texas 30. She's a public. Okay, look, you know what? I'm not a huge Jasmine Crockett fan. However, let me give a however. Public defender and attorney is at least something you've done. So she gets that at least. Okay. So of the bar being so low, anyone could step over. At least Jasmine Crockett did step over that bar. I give credit where credit's due. She was a public defender. That's something. The rest had nothing. Zero. I'm the first black, Chinese, Latino, Latinx maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Don't get in trouble now. Whatever. The thing. I'm that. And I'm the first of something. Okay. And I don't like whatever. The hair dye. That's the thing. But hers, she actually is a public defender. All right. I also don't like her style, but at least she got some spunk. So if I got to pick any of the fighters, I'm going to pick her. But this is still a bad fighter. And she is Nevada's 3rd congressional district. She's the president of communities in schools of Nevada. I guess is that something? I don't know what that is. Communities in schools of Nevada. I guess that matters. And she's 2 sprained fingers. Then why are you punching people then? I don't know. But just sprained fingers. This is what they're doing. They can't stop failing. Like the call we had last night when I was talking about how they're failing, everyone's talking about how they're failing. And there were people who, to be fair, if any of you happen to see the thing last night or hear it last night, I should say, people were talking about how I'm a former Democrat and I would like them to be good. And I believe in some Democratic views. And they were just like, my God, I can't go back to this horrible party. They kept thinking that because they keep failing. The way they failed at the election last year was the biggest piece, obviously. I mean, they failed the election last year. They failed to have any plan. They failed to change the leadership. They changed no leadership whatsoever. And they're still messaging like this. This is not good. The party itself is in trouble. And that's an example of more desperation and just trying to make things happen when there really is. I mean, nothing is happening. So I wanted to start with that. But again, this is AMA. I will take any questions, any that you have. I do want to chat about this for this piece. But if you want to go on someplace else, we will. Let me keep walking down the road. I'm going to grab. Again, usually I jump right to members. This time I will open up and not just to members. I'll still look at members, obviously, but not only members. Vivek says, someone like Jon Stewart or Stephen A. Smith needs to take over the party or have massive influence, either be their leader or top surrogate. Okay, I want to be very clear about this, Vivek. Most people don't know this. And they think that, well, if someone's great, they should like take charge of something or whatever. Running a party isn't the same as running for office, right? People are always like, Larry, you should be the chair of New York or whatever. No, I shouldn't. No, that's not my skill set. And people who know me No, that's not my skill set, right? There's a different skill set in like running a political party and running for office. They're different skill sets. And could someone do both? Of course. But they clearly can do one better than another. Could I run the party? Of course I could. But people would do it way better than I would, right? I'm much better at running for office compared to running a party. Way much better. There are many people who do a better job than I could at that. So someone like Jon Stewart or Stephen A. Smith needs to pick one of them. Generally speaking, they're good public faces. Why would I take over the party? I wouldn't. I'd rather them run for something if you're going to do that. I'd rather do that. So, yes. All righty. I think Patty's on your side. Patty says to Vivek, have always thought of Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert should be running mates and take it all over. That's true, but Colbert has become very establishment. I mean, he's very establishment. Stewart's not. Stewart still fights the establishment. But Colbert really has become establishment. Since he went, I mean, he's been that way for a bit, but not crazy. But since he went mainstream TV, oh my God. Yeah, really. Yeah, really. So Vivek says, Stewart won't, as he's already sold out and took a hit to credibility. Smith is useless with a massive ego. I would love if either of them actually tried. I don't think that Stewart has sold out yet at all. I think you're wrong on that one. Stewart is on his way to trying to become, he's not there yet, but if you look at him, he is on his way to trying to become a Chappelle-like person for the left. He's not there, but he is trying to get there, and he is pushing away from a lot of that stuff. If you see what he's doing, he is pushing away. He's not the sellout thing is maybe on the right, maybe, but not on the left. Democrats do not see him that way at all, Mike. They do not see him that way. Democrats see him much more like Vivek is talking about. They don't see him the way you do. It's a different. He could never run as a Republican, right? But Democrat, he could. He absolutely could. Smith is not useless again. His ability to connect to people, which he does very well, his charisma is very valuable. I'm not sure he should run for office. I think maybe right on that. But useless? No, very useful. He can be, to Vivek's point, Stephen A. Smith could probably be one of the best surrogates that a Democratic candidate could ever have. I'm not joking. If a Democratic candidate was running and he was one of their TV surrogates, amazingly powerful, amazingly good. Stephen A. Smith's very charismatic. He can talk well. He can deal with questions. He can joust with people effectively. I think Vivek is exactly correct. Smith would be an amazing surrogate. I don't know if he would be a good candidate. Again, I don't know if he's that smart. I don't know the guy. So he may be brilliant. I don't know. But he could definitely be a good surrogate, particularly for Democrats. He could be a great surrogate. I think Vivek is correct on that one. So yes. Now, Liberty Lady says, who called Larry show up on the X Spaces last night? Larry had great answers as usual. Thank you, Liberty Lady. I did try to. For those who don't know, last year when I worked with American Values, I actually worked with Lauren for a while. We worked together in that pack. So we knew each other already. We're going to events together. So I already knew her. So often when she has stuff like this, she'll invite me on, and I'm happy to help her out. We need to. Absolutely. So thank you for the $10, Friedrich. In my opinion, the party should hope for an obscure moderate Democrat, not from the coast, to emerge akin to Bill Clinton, who'll do a sister soldier moment, repudiating all of the woke love activists. I agree with you 100%. I think that's if you watched what James Carville, yes, if you watched what James Carville said, he was saying just play dead and wait. James Carville is saying wait for Bill Clinton 3.0 to come. That's what he's saying. That's literally what he's saying. He's saying eventually, this is his view. And it's not a stupid view. It could actually happen. It's possible this could happen. His view is if the Democrats do nothing, the Republicans will go too far because anyone who's in that much charge will just take advantage and go too far. And when they go too far, America will go, wait a minute, you've gone too far. And there'll be some form of backlash against Republicans and or Trump. Now, Trump is a very powerful character. So the odds of the backlash being against Trump, not as high as the backlash against the party. You find people who love Trump when things go wrong, they very often will not talk about Trump. They'll say the Republicans screwed me or the system. They tend to not blame Trump because they really love Trump. So the backlash may not be against Trump, but Trump won't be as popular because that's just how it works. Eventually, your popularity will wane. And the Republican Party may take a backlash if they go too far. And the odds are, if Democrats do nothing, again, because Republicans are people, they will just go too far because there's nothing stopping them. I see that here in New York with Democrats going way too far because nothing stops them. And then the backlash coming. And that's when the Bill Clinton 3.0 pops up and goes, here I am to save the day. Woke people are bad. Join me. That's when I think that will happen, Friedrich. I think you're correct. I agree with you. I think you're correct. So I am looking over at Rumble, and I see Joel says, NPCs only react, never act. Ooh, nice and accurate, by the way. Nice and accurate. Yes. All righty. Let me see if I can grab some more of these if I can. All righty. Vivek says, yes, Larry was good. All the other speakers were good too, though. Yes, they were good. Yes, I did. I thought they were good. Actually, Roger Meadows jumped on board and yelled at us for about 20 minutes. Yelled at us along, couldn't get anybody else in. So, yes. Mike says, that was funny. I blasted it too. It's so tone deaf and disconnected from reality. Mike, yes. They were. This is the worst part about this. This is the worst part. I talk often about teams, right? Mike, you get this. You run for office. You get this. Teams matter, right? You've got to have someone on your team who somehow is touching other people, understanding other people. And I tell the story often. I give this guy who was on my team, his name is Paul, I give him a lot of credit for me understanding the left at all. Because Paul is a left-leaning libertarian, and he was on my team in 2018. And at one point, he said to me, he's like, Larry, why do you hate the left? I'm like, what? I don't hate the left. He goes, yeah, you do. I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, yeah, you do. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he explained to me like what I was saying and doing. And to be forward, I wasn't lying to him. And I didn't really hate left. That was an exaggeration, but his point was well taken. I was dismissive of the left because they were dismissive of me. Therefore, I was angry at the left. And he opened my eyes. And from that day, I spent more time talking to the left, trying to understand the left, even though they yell at me and treat me terribly sometimes, they still dismiss me horribly. Some of you watched how they treat me like garbage. And I still go there and talk to them because I know I need to. And I don't want people to feel like I don't like or don't want the left. I don't want them to feel that. And I was portraying that. And I don't want to do that. So I did that. Why does it matter? Because I have the right people on my team who will tell me when I'm right and wrong, who will help me out and will give me good ideas. By the way, the other day when I had that everyone liked that show I did the other day, 2 days ago, Mike, he's the one who said, hey, do that. He was right. He said, do that. I said, okay. And I did it, right? Often people have given me ideas and I do shows and things when my team gives me ideas, right? Where's their team? Mike, somebody saw that idea and said, let's do this thing. And then someone else said, that's a great idea. All right, I'm not even mad at that because maybe it was a mistake. But at one point, and again, you all know this, somebody had to see the film, how old am I? Had to see the video and then had to edit, look at it, and they went, nailed it. Are you high? The second even if somebody said, good idea, go do it. Once you see it, you got to go, this is trash. What are you kidding me? No. Please delete this. Kill it with fire. I never want to see this anyplace. If this comes out, I'm suing you. Like, that's what had to happen. And they were like, no, release it. It'll be great. That's how bad their team is. They literally didn't even, no one was there to go, stop. If my team let me put this out, I would know they hate me. Like if I put like this guy out and Mike's like, great idea. But okay, you guys all hate me. Why do you guys hate me? If Missy was like, this is great, do it. And I put it out, why do you guys hate me? What did I do wrong? I'm sorry. There's no way this would go out. Missy would yell at me for an hour if I put this out. For an hour. She would yell at me if I did this. So yeah, no way. Anyway, you're correct, Mike. You're correct. Yes. All right. Matt says, oh, I forgot about this. Yes, it was terrible, wasn't it? Jesus Christ, it was terrible. Yes. User's been banned says, oh no, the cringe. There was lots of cringe. Yes, there was lots of cringe. James says, to choose your fighter ad from the Dems, And the Not Like Us video by Jasmine Crockett was so cringe. It was across the spectrum bad. So bad that people from the left and right dumped them. Yes, the Jasmine Crockett piece, right? I'm not a fan, obviously. She sadly is often a race baiter and a gender baiter, often. Not always, but very often she is. But what I do like about her is at least she's got a spine and the others don't. And I know that's a low bar. I get that's a low bar. But their bar is really low. So she at least gets over that bar. But the problem is she has something else. And this is unfair. But it's still true. If you are a Black woman, in culture, you are often looked differently at. True. Whether you like it or not, you often are. And if you do things that are stereotypical, which she does, you will often be attacked by your own. And she was. So a lot of people who got mad at her, they were Black men. Yes, it was Black men going, "What are you doing? Don't do the stereotype thing. We don't want you to do the stereotype thing. That's from the hood. Don't do hood stuff, right? Don't do that." And that's what happened. And some of you might go, "Larry, that's not fair." Fair or not, it's true. I'm not judging whether it's fair or not. I'm just saying that's true. And I know it. So why doesn't she know it? And if she does know it and doesn't care, why does she not care? Right? Should I because my skin is darker, should I be here dropping N-bombs, dropping the N-word all day long? Should I? If I did, people would be mad. You know who'd be mad at me for doing it? There'd be a bunch of Black people saying, "Why are you doing that?" Yes. Now, I could if I wanted to, but why would I? I know what the backlash would be. Why would I? So, any case, yes. All righty. Cheyenne asks, is she Latino or Latinx? She's Latina. But of course, if the more cultural left you want to go, you got to be Latinx or Latinx, however you want to pronounce that. Correct. Yes. Patty says, leadership, they are sheeple and only pretend to be upset with this all. Correct. Most of them are just buying and doing nothing. They just want someone else blamed for all of this if it goes wrong. Yes, and yes. Everything you just said, Patty's correct. And it drives me crazy because the leadership doesn't change. And it should, right? The leadership doesn't change. So Mike says, this was supposed to win the male gamer vote. I'm not sure. I think what it was supposed to do, I don't think that's what they were actually meant. What I think it was trying to do is show that there are some fighters left. That was the concept. The problem is, and you can see it, this is why is Jasmine Crockett, who isn't great, why is she popular? Because she'll fight. It's just true, right? It reminds me of, it's going to sound crazy, it reminds me of, and I always go back to history and war because that's who I am. It reminds me of the Civil War. And when there were about two generals in the Union who actually were decent generals. For those who don't know, when it came to the Civil War, most of our best generals were Southern generals. So when the war broke out, most of those generals went back to the South. So the South had far better generals than the North did, by leaps and bounds. They had better generals than we had. We had some decent generals. They weren't all bad, but relative to the Southern generals were far better generals than the North had. Just true. I say we because I'm from the North. So yes. So if you're from the South, you may think the opposite, but that's what I'm from the North. So the Union had far worse generals relative to the South. So one of the generals was a general named Hooker. For those of you remember, general named Hooker, and also another General Grant, very popular, right? Sherman. These are three of the more popular generals. And when people went to Lincoln and said, "Look, do you really want Sherman? This guy's a problem. Like he's a problem, right? You want Hooker? This guy just throws men into battle. Do you want Grant? Grant will do anything." And what he said was, "At least they're fighters. I need fighters. My generals don't fight. These generals fight. They have all kind of problems, but they'll fight. I can't win a war if my generals won't fight." These three generals, they were fighters. He was like, Take everything. At least you'll fight. Now, that's horrible for the Union soldiers who run into meat grinders. Terrible for that. They still weren't as good as the Southern generals, but it's what he had, right? Lincoln had 3 generals who would fight. He put them on, go, just jake it. Someone will fight at least. The rest of my generals break and run, are defensive, spend all the time training, don't do anything. Well, Mike, the Democrats are in trouble. Jasmine Crockett, she ain't great, but she'll fight. And that's why they give her attention. The bar is low, but she gets over the bar. She does get over the bar. So, yes. Joel says, wait a minute. No openly gay, trans, cross species examples. They missed many check boxes. Well, that's the second video. See, they couldn't fit all in one video, Joel. And then this video collapsed. So, yeah, no. Anyway, Michael Veloff, thank you for being a member, says, tell me you don't understand your base without telling me you don't understand your base. Well, I'm not sure. Do they understand their base? Maybe. I'm not sure. So, anyway, totally off topic. It's all good. It is the AMA. Shin says, what are your feelings with regard to animal rights and factory farming? My feelings are I can't stand factory farming. I think it's terrible. I think it treats, obviously, I eat animals on keto, right? Every day I eat tons of protein. Every day I eat usually beef, sometimes pork, but usually beef, and eggs every day. So today I had beef and eggs for breakfast. No, I didn't actually. I went out. No, I didn't. I had fish for breakfast this morning. Sorry, fish. And I rarely have seafood. I eat seafood maybe like once a month. It's very rare seafood. But today I had seafood. And then tonight I had beef and a salad for dinner. So I eat meat all the time. Every day. I eat protein and meat every day. So obviously I'm okay with butchering animals. Clearly. I'm not okay with torturing animals. That I'm not okay with. I don't like torturing them. I don't like any of that. So, Larry, do you pay the extra dollars for the farm fresh and grass fed? I do. And I've told you many times. You don't see me having a fancy car, fancy watch, fancy clothes. I don't spend money on that. I spend my money on my food. So I think that factory farming is terrible. I don't support it. I do not buy eggs or meat that is factory farmed. I do not. I literally go out of my way to buy things that are either pasture raised, grass fed, and it costs me more. The last time I bought eggs here in the city, just so you're aware, and I'm not joking. So you see, I said this. The last time I bought eggs in the city, my dozen eggs was over $15 for a dozen eggs because I will pay for the ones that I want. So I put my money where my mouth is. I do. If I'm going to say it and talk my trash, I got to pay for it. So I do. So I think factory farming is terrible. I think we shouldn't do it. I think nobody should support it. And I think that we should, make it to where it's a whole lot easier for local small farmers, which I've been talking about helping local small farmers literally for now 8 years. And I still talk about it. If we make local farmers, small farmers, easier for them to make their own businesses, they will be able to have regular local farming. We'll have lots of farm to table. We'll have options for people. And factory farming will simply not be valuable enough, and it will go away. And it needs to go away. It's not good. It's terrible. I hope I answered your question. So, yes. Joel says, AMA is potential NYC mayor counting on the votes from the 15,000 old folks he killed during COVID. Well, this is New York, so the dead can vote. So it's possible. So that's a possibility, but I doubt it. He doesn't need it. To be very forward, unless something crazy happens, and it has to be like insanely crazy, Andrew Cuomo is going to be the next mayor of New York City. He will win the primary in June, and he'll win it handily. And then he will win the election in November handily. He will win both, unless something I don't know, crazy. I don't know. I don't know what can happen to stop it. So yeah, other people who are running are only running to build themselves up for something else. So they're going to run. The guy who's actually doing relatively well in this, and he is probably a rising star. I actually have him on my show, If you want to check him out, his name is Mamdani. He's my state senator. Yeah, assemblyman. No, my state. He's my state assemblyman. No, state senator. He's my state senator. If you look back, Google Larry Sharpe and Mamdani, and you will see he came on my show. We talked for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, like that. He's running for mayor also. Very popular. He's hardcore left. He's hardcore left. And we had a good conversation. He's hardcore left. He's a active member of the DSA, which is the Democratic Socialist of America. And he's actually right now number 2 out of Queens. He's number 2. I think his family is from Iran, if I'm not mistaken. I think his family's from Iran. He is very popular. He's number 2 right now. He sometimes even beats Adams in the polling. So he is making a move to something, like he's going to run for Congress, or I don't know what he's going to do. Try to become a senator or something. He's making a move because he's not going to beat Cuomo, but he is popular and he is raising money. So yeah, so they're doing that kind of thing. And Scott Stringer's running because he always runs. I don't know why. No one likes Scott Stringer. So anyway, hope I answered your question. And the dead do vote here, so maybe everybody votes here in New York. See, everybody votes here in New York. So good. So all right, let me grab John real fast. John says, "Hey Larry, down here in Florida, we have Byron Donalds running for governor. Not sure how familiar you are with him. Want your opinion. Other night you mentioned #1 Austrian player in the game. How and what game? Okay. 2 pieces. Number 1, first I'll do Byron. I think Byron's very savvy. I think the odds of him winning are very high. He's a great speaker. He's savvy with the press. He knows how to bounce back and forth in a conversation. He's got Donald Trump's backing. I'm surprised how aggressively he came out against Andrew Tate. I thought he'd be more calm on that, but he took a hard stance on Andrew Tate. That tells me that he feels comfortable with the male vote and he's looking for the female vote, which I think is savvy and smart. I'm surprised. I didn't think he would do that because Tate is very iffy in the conservative world. Like if you go in the conservative world, there's a chunk of people in the conservative world who think he's the greatest guy in the world and a chunk who think he's a horrible guy. And he went to the horrible guy side, which look, I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same thing. I'm just saying I thought he'd want to kind of balance it. He was like, nope, horrible guy, which I think is good because the other people who don't like him are still conservatives, going to vote for him anyway. So I think it was a smart move. I didn't think he would do it. I'm glad he did. So I think he's going to win. I think he will win I think he'll be the next governor of Florida. That's my view. And I think he'll be a decent governor. He's not bad. He'll be a decent governor. Just decent governor. So the other night you mentioned him on Austria. Okay. The game I was talking about was a game called Diplomacy. It is, when it comes to board games, it's my favorite game ever. I used to travel the country playing it. I'm not joking. I would drive to different places. And there's a thing like called DiploCon and stuff like that. Back in the 90s, I actually would travel the country and play the game. The game is based off of it's a very old game, actually played by like State Department people play the game. If you can imagine, there's a board and it's pre-World War I Europe. That's the board. And it's all the major powers of the day. It's Russia, Germany, Austria, the Ottoman Empire, France, Britain, and Italy. Those are the powers. And you play one of those powers. And the game doesn't have dice. There's no rolls of the dice. There's no luck involved in that regard. The game's all talking. So each nation has the same amount of pieces, and you cannot win the game on your own. It is impossible. You must make deals to win. You cannot. It is physically impossible to win the game on your own. You have to make deals. So how does it work? The board's there, and then people just go and talk. That's what it is. So I go to you, John. I'm Austria. You're Germany. We have a conversation. Do you want to attack the Russians? Do you want to attack the Turks? Can I do this? Can you do that? Blah, blah. Then I talk to the Russians. Oh, the German guy, he's a bad guy. He told me this. I told the Turks. You just talk back and forth. Then everyone writes their orders down. No one can see what they actually wrote. I promised everybody everything. They all promised me who's lying, who's not. And then all the orders are revealed at the same time. And we see who actually told the truth, who didn't, who's actually lying, who's not. And that happens every single turn until either one person controls half the board, or until time runs out and whatever groups own a certain number of board can also win. You have group wins also, depending upon how you're playing in a tournament world. So that's how that works. And so there's no dice rolling. It's just talking, coercion, and there's always a backstab. The game is called the game of backstabbing. There is a backstab. And I used to play the game all the time, and I won Best Austria. Why does that matter? If you play the game, you know that because of the way geography is, and you get your countries randomly. The way the game is, Austria and Germany are in the middle of the map. They are the ones with the least chance of victory. The best chance was the outside, right? You can see just normally the best chance of victory is the outside versus the inside, right? So if I'm Austria, Germany, worst. So having number one Austria shows I'm a good player because Austria is the one that has one of the least chances to win. That is why I told you that story. I know it's way off, but you guys asked. It is AMA, so I will give you that. All right. Let's see here. Shredan over on Rumble says, at least they didn't put Schumer and Pelosi in the fighting video. True, because they would have fallen down and probably broke their hips. So you couldn't. It'd have been like, oh, that would have been it. Boom, down they go. That's what would have happened. So yeah. Shredan, also thank you for the $2, my friend. I marked it on my calendar. Josh Shapiro and Dean Phillips will be quiet until September 2026. Both will make a good run at president. Huh. Shapiro's got a shot. Phillips maybe. Depends who backs him. But Shapiro's got a shot. Being governor of Pennsylvania is a big deal. But if you notice, right now, you're right. They're quiet. So is Newsom. Newsom is doing the smartest thing. You guys, I know you guys hate Newsom. I hear all the time. I'm telling you, Newsom's no dummy. Newsom is no dummy. That's all I'm saying. I think you're right, Shannon. I think you're right. I think both will go for it. I think, though, Shapiro's got a better shot at it than the others. I think they do. So, yes. Joel says over also on Rumble, smaller family farms would be much better than the huge ones. Yes, yes, and yes. They actually produce more families staying together. They produce higher quality products. Yes, I'm a big fan of small families, and they can be held accountable. The big ones have never held them accountable, whatever they do. So, yes, thank you for that. Let me keep walking down this road if I could. User says, Larry, what do you think of the Gulf of America change? Why are people upset when it's inclusive? As a troll, should Trump say America is problematic, so he's changing it to a Gulf of the United States? Couple things. And this is something that, again, McConnell brought up today. Most of these things I don't care about. I think they're silly. I don't care. I don't care about a Gulf of America changing the way. Call it whatever you want. Okay, call it the Gulf of I don't know, Bob. I don't care. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me, right? That's not a thing for me. I don't really care either way. A lot of stuff I don't care about. But the problem is not the problem. The benefit, that's what I'll say, that Trump has. And again, I'm taking some of this off from Mr. McConnell. A lot of stuff I come up on my own. Mr. McConnell brought this up this morning, and it made me think. It goes what you're saying. What Trump has done very well is he's made the Democratic Party look like they're all weirdos. Why? Because he said things like, this should be the Gulf of America. We should not make pennies anymore. They cost us more than they're valued. Paper straws are bad, right? Like, we should make English the official language of America. Like, these things that most Americans go, yeah, it's kind of right. And the president shouldn't have to say any of those things because most people go, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But the Democrats have been against everything or won't say it because they're afraid of getting canceled. What he has done well, whether you like Trump or not, is he has said, I'm not being canceled. Stop shaming me. And I said this 5 months ago, when people were like, what's this election about? And I said, this election is about stop shaming me. Stop shaming me. I'm done with it. Stop. That's what it's actually about. And people don't want to hear that. But the cancel culture crap is gone. The shaming is stop shaming. You see me all the time. The second the Democrats say, I go, insult again. Just insult, insult, insult. No one cares. And they've made it so bad that, for those of you who aren't online as much as I am and don't meet as many different people as I do because I'm out doing this stuff, there are real bad people out there. There are real ists and real phobes out there. They really do exist. The problem is now they're fine. They're safe now because we've spent so much time calling everybody an ist or a phobe who's nowhere near an ist or a phobe. So now the actual ists and the actual phobes, they're hidden now. They're safe. We've made it okay to be that because now it's not an insult anymore. Now if someone calls you an ist or a phobe, you go, whatever, shut up. Just stop. It has no power, but they won't stop doing it. How good were those little, remember those little bingo paddles? How'd they work? They were a joke. They were literally a joke. We're going to say this isn't normal. Nobody cares. No, and they haven't learned. They've learned nothing. So I don't care. It's fine. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. So Andrew says, I tried to listen to the X Spaces a bit last night. I guess the platform hates my guts more than YouTube. There we go. There we go. But I thought it was pretty good, though. I thought it was. So Michael says, what about the Newsom and Kirk bromance? For Newsom, again, what Newsom is showing people and what he has shown people and what is true, he's not making this up. Newsom is a fighter. Again, I know a lot of you guys don't like Newsom. I get it. It doesn't mean it's not true. Newsom is not afraid to go into the lines and fight. He fought DeSantis. He goes on Sean Hannity's show. He put Kirk in room. He's not afraid to fight. And Democrats need a fighter. And what he's doing is he's setting himself up so that everyone knows who he is. Even the right knows who he is. His hope is, and I think it's not a bad hope, Michael. It's not a bad hope. His hope is, again, everyone's thinking the same thing I'm thinking, to be forward with you. They're like, Trump is going to run out of steam. Hopefully in 4 years, he runs out of steam. Hopefully he goes too far because Democrats have completely collapsed. Newsom's walked away from his own party, so he's going to let him collapse, right? So if he's going to hope that the Republicans go too far and do whatever, create like, invade Canada, whatever. I don't know, I'm making it up. But whatever's the thing that's too far, they go just too damn far. And now even the people who went to the Trump world go, this is too much for me. I remember that guy Newsom. He had whatever, Kurt on. He had other Republican on. He had this Republican on. That guy's not so bad. Maybe I'll vote for him. That is his hope. Now, do I think Newsom can do it? No, I don't think he can do it. But I don't think it's a bad hope for him. Right? I think that is his way. If there is a way for Newsom, if there is, that's the way. So he's doing the smart thing, hoping that eventually Trump runs out of steam. The Republicans go too far. The Democrats keep doing fight videos and screwing themselves over. And here comes Newsom to the rescue. Because think about it. If Stray Dan is right, and now we have Josh Shapiro and Dean Phillips, and Newsom jumps into the fray. No one on the right knows who Dean Phillips is. Only people on the left know who Dean Phillips is. I mean, as a country, right? Most of them know who they know a little Josh Shapiro, maybe a little bit. Newsom's going to have a big advantage in the press, right? And is Josh Shapiro and Dean Phillips, are they going to go on Fox News? Are they going to go on Newsmax? They might. Josh will get crushed in those. Josh will get destroyed in those, right? Newsom's already there. Been fighting already. Newsom's learning the ropes. Newsom is understanding how the right thinks, right? He's understanding. So it's a brilliant move for him. I think it's a smart move. I don't know if he can pull it off, but without question, if anyone can, it'll be him. If this is his best bet for him. So I think it's a smart move. So guys, I want to ask you if you could, please click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. I'm taking all the questions. Whatever you ask, I'm taking. So if you can, please do it. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please click that button if you would. If you have not reposted or shared this, why do you hate the children? I don't know why you hate the children. Do it. Put it into a Facebook group. Put it into X. Put it into YouTube. Whatever. Do the thing. Please also subscribe on YouTube if you would. And when you subscribe, make sure you click all notifications. But Larry, I subscribed already. YouTube is insane and will decide that you are a bot just because it does and will unsubscribe you. So check to make sure you have. And then while you're at it, you go on Facebook, you go on Rumble, you go on X. Follow me on those. It's free. It costs you nothing. And if like Larry, I would like to spend some money on you. Great. You can do that. You can follow us right now and do $2 and rant me on Rumble if you want to. Or if you want to, you can super chat me here on YouTube. Either one of those. That's what Friedrich did. You do that too if you want to. All good. Either one of those. And if you say, Larry, I don't want to keep doing it every time, you don't have to. You can just become a member. It's $49 per month. Click that join button on YouTube. Or if you're on Rumble, click that subscribe button only during the live, and boom, done and done. The more that comes into this route, the less I have to work, the more I can do this. And I would love to. My team's always telling me, Larry, you got to do more. You got to do more. I know once a day is not enough for these guys. Not enough. They're pushing me even more. Get to work. That's them, right? Well, I would love to. But as all of you, I've got to pay bills too. So I got to work during the day. So this is something I do at night. So maybe I could do more stuff or whatever. So anyway, hope that is clear on what I'm asking you to do. So yes. All righty. Let me walk down this road. If I could, a couple more of these. Let me see if I've got some people I know who are watching. There we go. Over on Instagram. Old Toby says, been on my mind since the Trump Elon X space conversation. Am I the only one who notices these casual efforts to distance obscure inflation from monetary policy, i.e. the Federal Reserve? No, well, here's the issue. And old Toby's correct in this issue, right? Number one is actual inflation, meaning literal inflation, comes from monetary policy. However, prices increasing can come from monetary policy and other things. And most Americans, 90% of Americans just look at prices going up equals inflation, right? Equals inflation. And that's the thing that doesn't connect as well, if it makes any sense, old Toby. Most Americans say, oh no, prices go up, therefore inflation. In reality, inflation versus price go up can be two separate things. And most Americans don't get that. So because of that, it's an easy way to say, oh, no. The inflation is because whatever, the supply chain's broken. That's price increases. Isn't really inflation, but Americans don't see it that way. So it allows people to then swap this out and say it's because of X, because of Y. I think, yes, remember, what the government does not want you to think, Toby, which I know you know, is that the Fed is actually bad. They want you to think, no, Fed good. Fed's saving us. Fed's good. It's because Chinese tariffs. That's why there's inflation. That's not true. But I'm saying that's what they're going to say. So I think you're correct. Yes, you're not the only one. The problem is not enough people know. I hope that answers your question, Toby. I hope it does. Okay, let me keep going if I could. All right. This is, thank you for the $5, Ray. After Doge and Trump clear out a lot of fat, then UBI can be a real thing. Yang gang. Here's my issue with UBI. To be very forward, I'm not, where's my theory? I got to be theory versus practice. In theory, am I against UBI? No. Let me explain why before you chop my head off. If it were, the problem is it won't work this way. That's why I am against UBI. But in theory, I'm not. Let me explain why. In theory, if those who know what UBI is universal basic income. It means every individual gets a certain amount of money, usually every month, period. No matter what. You're an American citizen and you're whatever, 18 or whatever is the number, you get X dollars every month, period. No matter what. Whether you're the poorest of the poor or Elon Musk, you get, for sake of argument, $3,000 a month, whatever that number is, right? Andrew Yang was talking about $1,000 a month. You get X dollars, period. Now, again, theoretically versus real. If that were to remove all other forms of public assistance, meaning there's no EBT, there's no Social Security, there's no disability. If everything went away and every American was supposed to live on whatever this number is, here is, X dollars, whatever that number is, right? $3,000 a month, whatever the number is, right? Here's the money, and that's all you were to get. And that's how UBI is supposed to work. If it was just that and nothing else, I'd probably be okay with it. Why? Larry, it's terrible. It's all this, blah, blah. Remember something. Over 60 million Americans already get a check from the United States every month. 60 million already do. There's only about 250 million adults in America. That's 1 in 4. So 1 in 4 Americans gets a check from the government already. Not just that. In New York State, most New Yorkers, over half, or on Medicaid or Medicare. So we're already on the government dole. So if I could just give a check to everybody every month and get rid of everything else, and more importantly, all of the administration, there's no need for any administration at that point. None, because there's no qualifications. I don't have to work. Just here's your check. Done. That's it. If it was that simple, and if that would happen, we'd save a whole lot of money, because all those jobs go away, all that bureaucracy goes away. It's all gone. Here's your check. Have a nice day. That's it. But here's what would actually happen. One, it wouldn't happen that way. It would be in addition to everything else. It would be another piece of public assistance. It would not be the only one. It would be another one. So it wouldn't save any money. We'd spend more money. Second thing that would happen is, okay, the second that happens, well, now congressmen are going to have to find their individual groups where they can get elected. So now I'm going to go to my congressman and go, see, I need to get more money. Everyone gets $3,000. I need $3,500. Why? Because I'm a veteran. Oh, yeah. So now veterans get $3,500. Oh, I'm different. I'm not a veteran. I'm a disabled veteran. I need $3,750. Oh, I have 2 kids. Oh, I need $4,000. Oh, I have this. I need $4,500. And boom, it'll keep going. So if I honestly believed that UBI will be done the way I said it initially, I'd be okay with it, because it would save a lot of money, make things easier. People who are wealthy could self-select. All kind of stuff could happen, right? Never going to happen. Not a thing. America would never do it. Even if we did in some, I don't know, alternate universe, Marvel universe, Kang the Conqueror comes in and does a separate universe, whatever. Thanos makes a separate universe. And this actually happens where everything else is gone with my Thanos snap, and it's just UBI only. If that happens, we would still, I think, afterwards just decide, oh, okay, now I'm special because I have 3 kids, so I need more, or whatever. I'm divorced, or I'm a veteran, or whatever. I need more money. I think it would still be terrible anyway. That's what I think. But look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I have talked about the idea of doing what's called a negative income tax, which is similar to where a flat amount is normal, and you always kind of match that flat amount. And then once it's over, you get nothing. So it gets everyone up to a floor, right? That's, in my view, if you're going to go a UBI style, that's a better style. What does that style mean? If these guys don't know what that is. I talked about it by having the New York State Social Trust, which I chatted about in 2022, that within 4 years, you could produce it to where the social trust could produce a negative income tax, meaning, and the number I had, I think was, was it 38,000? I forgot. No, I had a number. I forgot the number. I think it was 18,000. Sorry, $18,000. That's what it was. $18,000. That's, yeah. I hadn't talked about this policy in a long time. $18,000. So if you make less than $18,000, you will get enough money to start getting you back up, right? To push you up to that amount of money. That is a minimum floor. And I go, Larry, I can't survive on $18,000. No, I'm agreeing with you, but you get it but as you can keep making more and more and more once you get past it. So it's just a flat, no one makes less than that. And that was the concept of it. Once you get past that, well, no, you don't do it anymore. So that's a concept that at least could make some sense, and the wealthy wouldn't get big checks. And if you were in that world, you had multiple people living in one household, you could actually survive without it. You could survive in that, having multiple people in a household. You could work still. So stuff like that. So if anything, I might go down that road if I would. The problem is we are so, again, I'll say it again, 60 million Americans get a check from the government every month. How do you get off of that? It's not easy. It's not easy. Over half of New Yorkers are on Medicaid, Medicare. How do you get out of that? It's not easy. So anyway, I want to make things better. I'll take what I can get. So anyway. All right, let me see if I can grab down here some more of these if I can. Some of these questions, I appreciate them tremendously. So let me grab some of these if I can. Wow, so many. Let me just pop down these if I can, so I can grab a couple of these. All right. User says, Democrats and another James Trafficant, beam me up, Mr. Speaker. Shin says, who do you think will be next Florida governor? Yeah, I think Donalds will win. I think Donalds has it. I do. I don't think Casey DeSantis can win it. I don't think she will. So, yes. Andrew says, a race baiter, gender baiter, but never a master one. Well, she might be that. Look, and no judgment. She can enjoy how she thinks. Yes. Robert asks, who exactly do the Democrats serve at this moment? They have no clear plan or vision. And let's be quite honest, they hate about half of their base, progressives. Accurate. I think who they serve is right now is two different groups of people. They service educated women and their donors. That's it. That's what they currently service. And they shouldn't. It's an error. It's dumb. It doesn't work. And not who they're supposed to do, and not who they're supposed to service. But that's who they currently service. That's who they currently service. Correct. I'm looking over at Rumble. Space Jason says UBI is a joke. The government doesn't produce anything to be in a position to support every citizen. Just let people keep the money they earn and stop spending money around the world. Agreed. Again, but my point is, how deep are we? How deep are we? I'm not saying you're wrong, Space. I'm saying here is where we are now. How do we get to that spot? I'm not sure. It's tough. I've given my plans. People don't seem to want to listen to my plans, but I've given my plans. I've told you how I think we can get there. I think we can get to where we're there. I think we can get there. But people just keep throwing more money at this problem and don't make it better. Silver Charm says UBI equals social credit score. There is my biggest problem with UBI. Silver Charm is correct. The biggest problem is the government can decide you no longer get UBI. You did something wrong or bad or whatever. We don't like you for whatever reason. No UBI for you. True. Not wrong. Not wrong. Who's it going to punish? Not the wealthy. The wealthy won't need the UBI. They'll take it because it's free money, right? But they're not going to need it. So if you punish the wealthy with the no UBI, they go, oh, okay, I don't care. I was using it to just, pocket change anyway because I'm wealthy. I don't care. But now someone who's using it to pay the rent is like, what? I'm sorry, I'll do as you say. Silver Charm is correct. It is a problem. There are lots of problems with UBI, but I'm happy to talk about it. I don't have a problem. I don't get mad at it. I talk about it. Yes. So, all righty. Let me go back to Instagram if I could. Toby's back on. Says, cheers. Thank you. Cheers, good sir. If you're open to the cannabis industry, I may have a number of opportunities. Reach out anytime. I love that. I'm happy to do that. Yes, I'm always open to the cannabis industry. Even though I'm not a partaker, people should be able to do as they see fit. Right? As they see fit. I'm okay with that. No one here. Joel says, Latinx is fallen out of use, hasn't it? It was never a good idea. It was always a terrible idea because the Latin community didn't want to use it. Right? Bill Maher had a guest on last Friday, and the guy is an older gentleman who's gay, and they were talking about the word queer, and he said, this is what he said. He goes, I didn't like the word queer. And Bill was like, why? He goes, because I've been rebranded 4 times in my lifetime. And that's the same thing, right? If you're gay and you want to call yourself queer, I don't care. Call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. And I'll help you. I'll call you whatever you want me to call you. I don't mind. Whatever's appropriate. I don't mind at all, right? And so he's like, I'm tired of being rebranded. So am I. You never hear me go by African American. Never. Now, I'm not mad if you call me that. I'm not. It's fine. I'm not mad at it. But I grew up black. That's what I prefer. If people ask me, yes, I'm black. I don't call myself African American. Now, I'm not mad. I don't care. You can call me if you want to. I don't care. But I hope I don't get canceled with this. But I'm old enough to remember my father being happy and proud being called a Negro. Because when he was younger, in the 30s, when he grew up, he was called worse than that. He was called the other N-word. So when people were calling him a Negro, he was like, yes, I'm a proud Negro man. He was fine with that. I grew up with black. I'm fine with that. I know a lot of youngsters are African American. I don't care. But my point is, I don't want to be outside rebranded every 5 minutes. So I get that. Latin people do the same thing. Look, let them be called what they want to be called. Period. Let them be called what they want to be called. So yeah, it was never a good idea because it wasn't internal. It wasn't Latin people going, I want to be called Latinx. It wasn't that. So yeah. Alrighty. Let's see here. Robert says, we can talk all day about how bad Democratic politicians are, and rightfully so. Many of them are truly awful. But there's an ecosystem that allows them to be bad and includes voters and influence. Agreed. You hear it all the time. I say all the time, Robert, you're correct. Agreed. Right? I completely agree. Most people who don't lean left, who lean right or middle, don't even know the difference between Democrats and the left. No idea. They think all the same. I think you're right. Yes. Yes. Shin says, how do you feel about the term? Oh, Jesus, you're walking down terrible roads. All right. How do you feel about the issue of minor attracted persons? How do we solve this problem? Is an appropriate term. Let me be very clear. No, it is not an appropriate term. That's not a thing. I don't want to make that in any way, shape, or form okay. It's not okay. Are we clear on that? It's not okay. Now, if you say you are attracted to young adults, you do you. You do you. As long as it's consensual and it's a young adult, I got that, whatever, right? Two adults, do it. I don't care if it's whatever. That's that woman now she's like 20 something and she's going to the old folks home to shoot videos. I don't care. She's 22, whatever she is, and she's like 80-year-old dudes, two adults, do as you see fit. No worries. The second you go to kids, I have a big problem. I'm a libertarian, and I'm all about you do you. But you do you includes two very important facts. Two very important facts. Consenting and adult. Those are the two. Consenting and adult. If those two things are true, enjoy. Find happiness the way you want to find happiness. But once it's kids, it's not okay. Period. It's not okay. It's not okay. We have to culturally say it's not okay. We have to legally say it's not okay. There must be penalties for this, not just criminal, because criminal is not enough. It is clearly. This kind of behavior has been illegal for a very long time. Very long time. And people still doing it. So it also must be culturally wrong so that people feel like I can't do this. And here's the weird part. And please, if you are someone and what makes you motivated is people who are young, right? Great. There are young adults who will happily, eagerly dress up any way you want to dress up, act any way you want to act for a fee. It's everywhere. And this, of course, is adults who are consenting. So if you want to have some fantasy that the adult is an adult, I don't mind as long as they're consenting adults. But actually messing with kids is 100% wrong. No exception. How we deal with it and solve it is it must be not just. The reason why I don't like that map, I don't like it, is because it makes it okay culturally. And it should not be okay culturally. It should not be okay legally. If that's what turns you on, I don't know what the reason is that turns you on, great. Then you need to find some professionals who can give you some fantasies, who are consenting adults, and let those professionals give you all the fantasies you need. All good. I do not mind that at all. So I hope I answered your question. I know that was a weird one, but fine. Anyway, all righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. So many of these popping up. I do appreciate it completely. Bonnie Moore Photography says you're 100% correct. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. A hot take, I guess. I think it was a hot take, but a lot of people are trying to make it okay and not punishing the person. And if the person hasn't done the deed, they should not suffer any state punishment. They haven't done the deed. Now, or haven't even attempted. Attempting, that should be a crime also. But if they have not attempted the deed, that should not be a crime. If they want to go outside and hang out and do their thing with adults, that should not be a crime. It's a crime if they attempt to do the deed or do the deed. There we go. So, Ryan, thank you for the $5. Dems have a rural problem, a working class problem, and now a Hispanic problem. They need they need to change some of their social justice messaging too. Agreed. Right? And I think you're seeing it. You are, if you go back 40 years, the Democrats were still a working class party. They kind of still were. They were still a working class party. I mean, they were losing it slowly, right? Reagan was the first guy to really bring the working class into the Republican Party. Prior to that, the Republican Party was really much more of an elitist party prior to Reagan. And it started to change during Reagan. Clinton brought some of them back. He did. Clinton's charisma brought some of them back. But now they're gone. The problem with Obama, while he was slick, there's no doubt he was smooth, he was slick. Obama clearly wasn't working class. Right? Bill Clinton, while he wasn't working class, he came from working class and he can connect to the working class. If you remember how good Clinton was, Clinton connected to the average person very well. Obama didn't and still doesn't. Obama was just very slick and very cool, right? Obviously, I'm comparing him to other people, like, Mitt Romney. Oh my God. You compare Obama to Mitt Romney? Obama's the slickest guy in the room. I mean, come on, Mitt Romney, you kidding me? So I think you're right. Obama was unable, and here's how you know it. Obama was unable to get anybody else elected, right? He was slick and cool, but that was it. He couldn't connect to anybody else. Clinton was not working class, but came from working class and was able to connect. Similar to Trump. Trump's not from working class, but Trump connects to working class, right? And Clinton connected to him. Obama never did. Trump still does. Initially, early on, Biden did. When Biden was first running back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, Biden connected very well to the working class. Very well. As he got older, he went away. But as he went older, that ability to connect to working class went away too. So, yeah, I think you're right. The rural issue is because they don't support farmers. And to be forward, they could have picked this up if they would have taken Kennedy. Ryan, the Democrats' biggest mistake in the last 4 years, and not even close, of all the mistakes they made, and they've made many of them, but the biggest mistake the Democratic Party has made in the past 5 years is not running a primary last year. Not running a primary. That was their Stalingrad of World War II. That was the end. That was the battle. That was Midway in World War II. That was Gettysburg in the Civil War. That was the end, right? When they did that, that was the end. If they had just run a primary, they would have had a better candidate, whoever that person would have been, either a better, again, I say this all the time, but I'm giving her a benefit of the doubt, a better Kamala Harris. I don't know how. She was just terrible, but theoretically, if she would have won, you get a better, Kamala Harris. Or if you don't get that, you get somebody else who would have been a better candidate, and you get RFK Jr., either on the ticket with the person or as the nominee, which gives you the rural issue. Because one thing RFK Jr. does very well is connect with farmers. Very well he does. He connects directly with farmers. So, yeah, I agree. I agree. Fahim, thank you for the 99, my friend. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. All righty, let me see if I can go down here. A couple more of these. MW Knox says Newsom is even slimier than Cuomo, which is why he's so dangerous. Yes, don't count him out. You are correct. Do not count him out at all. Mike says Newsom is the only credible voice at the moment. That's why he debated DeSantis. The loss was still a win for him. 100% true, Mike. Yep. No other Dem would do that. Same with Kirk Douglas. Yes. I don't think he can be that guy, but there is no better answer for him. This is the answer for him. And at the moment, nobody else is even close to that. I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Andrew says, yeah, Newsom has more charisma than Cuomo. Yes, Newsom's better looking, has more charisma. But Cuomo can fight too, but not like Newsom. Cuomo can fight too, but not like Newsom. Newsom's a much better fighter. Cuomo is accustomed, this is Cuomo's problem. He's accustomed to being the top dog a lot. He likes being in a spot where he's always right. No one says anything. Yeah, he's accustomed to that. He's going to make that change. I'm not sure he can do that. So, yeah. James says, English as a national language, like, who cares? If anything, not having a national language was one of the things that made me proud to be American. Yeah, I don't care either. That's my point. A lot of these things don't matter. But people think, yeah, official language. Almost every country has an official language or languages. Most countries have more than one official language, but they have them, right? By the way, little trivia note. Do you know what the most common official language in the world is? It's English. Correct. Many countries have multiple languages, and English is one of their official languages. It's very common. So, yes. Again, the point being, to your point, James, it shouldn't be a thing. It should not be a thing. It's only a thing because the Democratic Party has taken such crazy stances on crazy things and has come out to feel, whether they are or not, I don't know, but to come out where it feels they're almost anti-American, anti-common sense. Think about it. Donald Trump is the common sense candidate. Did you hear what I just said? I'm not wrong. That's why he says stuff like this, because he can. Because Democrats have lost their way. That's why they're flailing right now. Your point's valid. I don't care. If he makes it, yes. If he doesn't, yes. But no one's fighting him. Right? No one's fighting him. So, all right. Shin says, Larry, why should we make English official? I just said it doesn't matter. We shouldn't do anything. I don't care, is my point. I don't care. It's not a big deal. This is a hill that, like, Democrats will die on. And this is exactly the point I'm making. Democrats will die on this hill. How dare who gives a crap? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Is all of a sudden New York, you see, if you live in any major city, there's multiple languages everywhere. And it's not going to go away because he made it official. It doesn't matter. He does this on purpose so that Democrats will die on this stupid hill that nobody cares about. Because you're right, James, it doesn't matter. But people are jumping up, oh my God, how dare you? I don't care. It changes nothing. It is symbolic. It is bait that Democrats jumped on. It means nothing, right? He makes a video. Are we going to stop having signs in Spanish now? Of course not. Where I live in New York City, there's places where the signs are in the other language. Like if you go to Koreatown, there's signs in Korea. They go, oh, take them down now. No, doesn't matter. If you live where I live in Queens, right? You go a little bit to the east of where I live is Flushing. Flushing's heavily Asian. Most of the signs are in either Chinese, Japanese, Korean, whatever. Not gonna change. It's just people fighting for nothing. It's a brilliant move. Who cares? I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not. I'm saying it's a hill not necessarily to die on, and why jump on that? You see me often, except for AMAs. I get a lot of questions because it's just bait, particularly from libertarians. Libertarians are the worst. They ask insane, silly questions about stuff that just is there to bait you into some stupid debate that means nothing. Happens all the time. And this is one of those. That's what I mean by that. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Joel says Trump should have started calling like an auctioneer, acting like their paddles were bids on their force out influence. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Shan says Gavin has good hair. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Kitty, thank you for being a member. Thank you for being a member. I mean, someone's gonna do it. The field is wide open for someone to just act like a human being on the left. I didn't expect it to be Gavin. I just got finished watching it. I was actually impressed. Bingo, Kitty. See? People think Newsom's not savvy because they don't like him or because he's a bad governor. And he is a bad governor. That's accurate. And it doesn't matter. I've been telling you this forever. It doesn't matter. Yes. Let's see here. Phil says, Dean Phillips can't go on Fox News or he'll be accused of being a traitor. There's a penalty for Democrats going on more conservative platforms. No, I don't think so, Phil. Again, Newsom's been on Fox News multiple times. The question is, do they think he's wrong? He's accused of being a traitor, not because of that. He's a traitor because he went against Biden. See, Newsom didn't do that. Newsom shut up and went, Biden's great. Harris is the queen. He did what was required in the Democratic Party. So now he can go do this. Phillips didn't do that. Phillips jumped on a Yang train and said, oh, no, Biden's bad. Oh, no. That's why he's a traitor, Phil. Not for Fox. He's a traitor because he didn't follow the king and the queen. Newsom shut up and was like, yep, Biden is smart. Of course he is. Harris is the best thing in the world. Of course she is. That's what Newsom did. So he can now go on Fox. That's the reason. So yes. Shin says, Larry, what do you make of Trump's totally unconstitutional actions? Not that you're biased, such as getting rid of birthright citizenship. He's not getting rid of it. I think that doesn't someone have to say it again. So look, you're falling for all his things. You're falling for all his things, Shin. You're falling for all his things. He's putting this out so that you can care about it. And people, and to be forward, CNN, MSNBC, all they talk about. All they talk about, but not one answer. Now, I would ask you, here's the issue. What would be your answer for people coming over here and having anchor babies? What will be your answer? And the problem is you might have one. I don't know, Shin, if you have one, you might. But there's not one Democrat who does. So he can do this, and Democrats can't say anything because they have no answer. Now, if they had an answer, they'd be fine. Now, maybe the answer is, oh, birthright citizenship does not count if X or does count if Y. That will be an answer if they had that. They don't have that. They just have, see, Trump's unconstitutional, which is an insult. What Democrats have is insults. And to be forward, as you can see, Shin, nobody cares. Not nobody. America doesn't care. America cares about, I don't want to spend $15 for eggs. That's what America cares about. I want to pay my rent. I have very high credit card debt, which most Americans right now are saying. My credit card debt's crazy. I'm getting laid off. I don't know where my next job is coming from. They don't give a crap about birthright citizenship. Doesn't matter. They don't care about that. They don't care about English being an official language. They don't care. And I know some people care. And what I'm saying is the more Democrats focus on this stuff, the more they're in trouble. Democrats are still, I see it. I'm on Blue Sky. I see what they talk about. It's all about, and is it Gulf of America. Who cares? Eggs are $15. I don't care about Gulf of America. I don't care. I don't mean to be flippant, but Americans are being flippant because it doesn't matter. He made English the language of America. I can't pay my rent. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Now, if these tariffs fail, oh, will they be all over the joint? They will be all over the joint. Yes, all over. 100%. If that happens, they will be all over the joint if those tariffs fail. The tariffs got to work. They don't work, he's in trouble. This stuff, they don't care about. I don't mean to be flippant at all, Shin. I'm just being very forward with you. It's how America, you can see it everywhere. You can see it in all of the polling. You can see it in the news. You look at independent news. To Robert's point, where you're seeing what you're talking about right now is in mainstream, is CNN, MSNBC screaming. But go to the other side. They're laughing at this. I think, why? Doesn't make any sense. They don't care. Kitty says, I actually gained real respect / appreciation for Gavin Newsom after listening to his convo with Charlie. Look at that. I'm right. Mike is mad right now. He's like, what? Because Mike hates Newsom. So yeah, he's mad right now. But I'm telling you, Mike, I told you it's working. It's working. I didn't see that coming. Literally no one had this on their bingo card or ping pong paddle. Yes. And you're not alone, Kitty. I have seen people online talking about this as, look at what he did. Wow. Look at what he did. Who's mad? Some of the more mainstream people are a bit mad because they don't like the idea. Because remember, mainstream people, you will see them sometimes always yell the same thing. You're platforming the Nazis, which is insanely stupid, but constantly. You can't platform them. No, yes, you wouldn't. Here's the thing that people don't get, and I hear it all the time. You can't talk to them. You got to ignore them. You got to fight them. All right, they're Americans. If you don't talk to them, how can you change their mind? You can't. Are you going to kill them all? I'm not joking. if you're not going to talk to them to change their mind, currently they run the country. You're not going to use conversation to change their mind. So what are you going to do? Kill them all? What's your other option? Are you going to be under their boot forever? If you threaten violence, what if they use violence first on you? It makes no sense. The concept of not talking to people is terribly stupid, and it is self-righteous. That's all it is. I'm not sure. There's a saying they have, which is, again, this saying is very common, and it's insanely dumb, but it's all the time. If you see one guy, if you see one guy and 10 Nazis sitting at a table, there's 11 Nazis there. That is so insanely stupid. Why? I'll give you the perfect example of it. I give it all the time. Daryl Davis. Daryl Davis, for those who don't know, is a black musician who would actually go to meet Klan people, Klansmen, and talk to them, and he would take them out of the Klan. He has like 24 robes. He literally wins. He talks to them for years and pulls them out. So now Daryl Davis sitting at a table with the Klansman. Is he a Klansman now? Do you see how stupid that is? But you will hear people say it with righteous indignation. Oh, you can't be around. They say it like they're Greta Thunberg. How dare you? They say it that same way. It's silly. It's self-righteous. It's simply not a thing. Yeah, it's not a thing. We should be talking to everybody all the time. Unless we're going to kill them all. Okay, go kill them all then, I guess. But unless you're doing that, they're Americans. I don't want to do that. I want to talk to them. So yes. John says, I always smash the like button in the first minute. Force of habit from watching all these years. Oh, thank you. Guys, please click the button known as like. Exactly right. You should do that. Follow what John's doing. He's right. And share it, as I tell you all the time. And subscribe if you haven't already. And follow me if you haven't already. Please do so. Please. It does matter. Every little bit does matter. I know I bug you all the time. Why? Here's the reason why I bug you about reposting. Here's why I bug you about reposting. Back in the day, for those of you who used to watch my show years ago, back in 2020, when I was at my peak around 2019, 2020 after my governor run, I would do one show like this on one platform. I was only doing it like just on YouTube or just on Facebook. I would get 5,000 views on Facebook like that. Boom, massive views, huge amounts. Just on YouTube, boom, massive views, massive amounts. If you see some of my older videos, 80,000 views, 10,000 views, 12,000 views, tons of them. I started talking about how the mandates were bad in 2020. Shut everything down. I was shadow banned on everything, and I mean everything. My views went from 5,000 to 500 overnight, like within a week. When I showed my daughter it, she thought, no, Dad, you just suck. My daughter thought, you just suck. You're bad at this. I said, look. She looked at the numbers. Oh, my God, you're right. Yes, shut down. So how do I rebuild that? Now I have to go live. You guys know I'm live on 8 different platforms. I'm swapping through Rumble. I'm on 8 platforms because now with 8 platforms, I still get several thousand views, but not on one. One platform, I might get 1,000 views, maybe. Usually not. But I do if a good video, I'll break over 1,000 views on one platform. But usually I get hundreds on every platform. Well, hundreds times 8 gives me thousands of views, right? I get 500 here, 900 here, 200 here. Add them all up, I get thousands of views. That's what I have to do now. I have to fix that. This is why I keep bugging you to share and to like so that the rhythm, Al Gore, will kick back in and I can move past this. It's also why now I'm on Sharpe Way. What I found out, if you guys don't know this, I was banned on Larry Sharpe, but I wasn't banned on Sharpe Way because I wasn't using it. That was my backup because I thought I was going to get actually just pulled. I thought I was going to pull everything. But I guess because I ran for governor, I was a public figure, they couldn't pull me. So they instead just decided, let's just ban this guy and wreck him. And it worked. So my secondary channels weren't banned. That's why you see me on my secondary channels now, and they're exploding because they would never shadow ban. They would never turn down. That makes any sense. That's why I bug you all the time. It's not because I'm bored. It's because I'm trying to get myself back up to a spot where I was back in my heyday. That was my goal. So yes. Andrew says, the NIST would undoubtedly eliminate the poverty trap so many people are stuck in. That is my goal. Yes, that's my goal. Right now, New York has the worst wealth gap in the country. Yes. So Gene says, if everyone gets the same amount of money, who would do the work that's needed? Well, the goal of UBI in theory, again, this is theoretical, Gene. In theory, UBI doesn't stop you from working. You can still work. right? It doesn't go away because you work. So if you get whatever the money amount is, for sake of argument, $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month, whatever, you get $2,000 a month. You can still keep working. You get the money no matter what. So if you want to make more money, make more money. So what's, again, in theory, what UBI is, it's just enough for you to survive on, not to thrive on. So unless you want to live with other people, and you can if you want to, right? Let's say, for example, you get $2,000 a month, whatever that amount is. So you get 24K. If where you live, you can survive on that on your own, you would. But some parts of the country, you can't live on that. Some parts you can. If you can't live on that, you might have to live with somebody else. So you and your spouse, you and your kid, you and your something, right? You live together, and now you have 48,000. Well, most places in America you survive on 48,000. Some you can't, most you can. Well, if you're in a spot where you can't, well, you got to live with 3 people, or you go out and work. So if you go out and work and get a job that's just $12,000 a year, but you're already making 24, now you make it 36. So that would be the concept. Is UBI is so you can go work for extra money if you want. That's the idea behind it. If that makes any sense, Gene. So would some people just stay home? Yes. Some people stay home now. There's about 8 or 9 million men in America right now who've just checked out. They're done. They're somehow getting some kind of public assistance. They're making some little cash here or there on side jobs, black market stuff. They've checked out already. So will some people check out? Yes. But they're checking out now. So no difference in that regard. Yeah. So anyway. All righty. Let me see if I can go down here. Kim says, wow, I had no idea you were on. I am. Yes, I'm here again. Yes. Kim says, the Democrats will do better when they start sharing the wealth instead of a box of diapers, formula, loaf of stale bread, and box mac and cheese from food pantry. Yes, agreed. Yes, that's true. Andrea says, just let me keep the dollars I make. I'm with you, Andrea. You know I'm with you. I'm just being forward, right? I'm trying my best to be as realistic as I can. Most libertarians you hear talk actually either aren't libertarians or are all about virtue signaling purity. I'm not against the virtue signaling purity when it comes to debates and things like that, concepts, theories. But if I'm talking about how do I fix the system now, recognizing where we are now, the environment we're in now, the amount of money and debt that we're in now, the people who are dependent upon the state now, the states that are dependent upon the federal government now. Wow, it's going to be hard. So I've got to find a way to get us back to that spot, right? That's it. Michael says, do we need MMT to get to space since the economic scales are, well, astronomical? You know, it's a funny piece to bring that up, right? People are starting to see that MMT is garbage. For those of you who know, MMT is modern monetary theory, or what I call the magic money tree. So it's the idea that debt doesn't matter and we can just keep going. But whenever people say that, I go, okay, let's assume that you are correct. And I'm not joking. Some of you are like, what? Yes, there's a thing. There's books on it. MMT is modern monetary theory. I call MMT magic money tree. The concept is that debt does not matter because the U.S. debt is to itself. We are the reserve currency. They will always need dollars. The world will always need dollars. So it doesn't matter. That is the theory behind it. It's utterly not true, but that's the theory. Just so you understand what they're saying. That is the theory. That if we owe money, we owe it to ourselves. So it doesn't really matter. That's the concept. What I always say is, okay, let's assume that's true. You're right. So how about so debt doesn't matter. How about every 10 years, the United States gives every American adult a mulligan and absorbs all of their personal debt? Like what? Yes. Absorb all the personal debt. Just give everybody a bankruptcy mulligan. Don't call it bankruptcy. Just take all their debt, absorb it into the federal government, take all their debt, make everybody clean slate, zero, every 10 years. Like what? Just do it. You just told me debt doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. So give every American, every 10 years, a clean slate. Give every American 10 years to run up as much debt as they can. We'll try really hard. Run up so much debt. And then at the end of the 10 years, have the American government come in and just absorb all the debt. Don't matter. Who do you care? Doesn't matter. MMT. And they go, we can't because inflation. Oh, there's inflation. Oh, it doesn't work that way, does it? Yeah, because maybe MMT is garbage. That's my only issue. If debt doesn't matter, absorb consumer debt. If it doesn't matter, I'm okay with it. I believe you. It doesn't matter. Great. Absorb consumer debt every 10 years. Just absorb it all. Who cares? They never do. Because yeah, it's not real. But if you want to gamble and you just want to say, hey, can we just burn everything so that we can get out to Mars or something? It is a way, Michael. I don't think it's the best way, but could we do it? Yes, we could. You could just use MMT, not care about anything, spend all the money, go to Mars. Yes, it would work. I agree, it would work, but our economy would be trashed at the end of it. But we get to Mars, though. Now, hold on. Unless, now here's okay, hear my gamble, Michael, hear my gamble. We use MMT, the magical money tree, to just blow the money into debt all over the place, to go to those gold asteroids and mine all the gold. And then we come back and then we take all the gold and put it into our currently empty Fort Knox, which has no gold in it. But they say they do, but that's no gold. Put the gold in the actual Fort Knox and then build sound money. See? Okay, that one, maybe that would work. So we blow our debt to the garbage, right? Have Elon go get the gold out of the asteroids, right? Give him his cut. He's going to cut. Give him his cut of the gold, whatever that cut is. Give him like 10%, whatever, right? We take all the rest, put it into Fort Knox. There's no gold in now. So now we got gold in Fort Knox. And then boom, now we make some real money and we reboot. See? I found an answer, Michael. The whole way through, I found an answer. See that? Maybe the real gift we got was the gold we got along the way. That was a true gift. So yes. All righty. Let me keep going down here. Phil says, Milton Friedman talked about the negative income tax because it eliminated bureaucracy, had the least effects on work. Correct. Right? There were libertarians have talked about negative income tax. Judge Jim Gray talked about it. I talked about it when I was running in 2022. It's if you're looking at how bad things are, look, Andrea is correct. Just let's keep our money. We're just nowhere near there. If you saw my plan, I discussed this before. If you want, I talked about it. I have plans of ending taxation in New York State. So I want to move towards that. I talked about this the other day when I was at one of my events. Right? I have a plan on ending New York State income tax in 8 years, lowering the actual corporate tax to 2% over the course of 8 years, cutting property tax in half within 4 years. So we can do it and move towards that world. But doing it tomorrow, we'd have chaos. So yes. So, all right. Robert says, I don't know how I feel about universal basic income. I'd much prefer a federal jobs guarantee. Is there really? What's the difference? Right. One is making them work. They were making up jobs. It's a whole lot harder if your goal is to support America. If that's your goal is to make sure Americans don't starve, Americans support. If that's your goal, if that's my goal, and I want the government to do that, right? If my goal is government should make sure people don't starve or whatever, right? If the support people, that's my goal. I'd rather write them a check. It's a lot cheaper in every way, shape, or form. Why am I going to make these jobs up? I would rather do that. In fact, if everyone's getting a check, I can actually make the actual photo jobs that I need to function. I could actually make those jobs pay less because they're already getting a check, right? So if the job pays whatever, 60 grand a year, and you're already getting 24, well, I could just charge you $36,000 a year for that job now. I'd rather go that route. I get where you're going with it, but I'd rather go that route. If I have to, that's where I'd want to go. So, yeah. Cheyenne says, I think the 2000 census, Black people say they want to be called Negro. 2010, people became offended because it was on the census. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, well, older Black people still remember Negro, right? If you're in your 70s, you're in your 80s now, if you haven't been in your 90s, you remember Negro. You're like, that's okay. It's fine, right? That was fine, right? If you're younger, you don't even it's an insult if you're younger, right? It's an insult. Katie, thank you for being a member. Dollars for everyone except millennials, Gen Z, who apparently will never be able to buy a house or have a family or dreams. Economy has been structured to benefit boomers who are crushing us repeatedly. Yes. Accurate statement, Katie. If you're a boomer, you're set. If you're not so much. Not so much. I agree. Yes. Grace says, I prefer Chino-American since it's International Women's Day. Did you see how many articles for International Women's Day have admitted how women have reached and even surpassed men in many areas? I've been saying this forever. If you are under 30 in America and you're a woman under 30 complaining about how life is hard for you, you live in a fantasy world. Women over 30 still saw some stuff. If you're over 50, you saw a lot of bad stuff because life was not great for you. But if you're under 30, you make more money, have more education, have more friends, have more opportunities, higher chance of getting hired for a job. I'm not making that up. That's accurate. LinkedIn did an entire study on this. Yes, you're good to go. Women under 30 are whipping men's ass in every way, shape, or form. If you're under 30 and you're like, I'm oppressed, you're living in a fantasy world. It's utterly not true. In fact, if you're under 30 and you're a woman, you don't know what oppression is. I don't mean to be mean. You do not know what it is. It's not a thing. It's not a thing in America. Sorry, in America. Maybe other countries, yes. And be very clear. In America, if you're under 30, you are a first-class citizen. First class. Yes. There is no evidence you can show me, again, under 30, that you're in any way, shape, or form in trouble. Not a thing. And you never saw problems. You have a better chance of getting to college. You have a better, you're having more sex. Every way you could imagine happiness. You name it. Under 30, women are destroying men in any way you could imagine. There is no data showing the opposite. None. So, yeah, women right now are whipping men's asses in everything under 30. It is the reverse. It has gone the opposite way. Absolutely true. So, yes. All righty. Shin says, Larry, but those attracted to minor must get mental help. How do we go seek help? Okay, let me be very clear. Sorry. Shin says, Larry, but those attracted to minors must get mental help. True. How do we get these people to go to seek help? As I said, make it culturally wrong. What's the example I'll give you? It's a similar but different issue, but still a problem. Alcoholism. Back in the day, you go back 30, 40 years, maybe 50 years even. Being alcoholism was like he just drinks a lot, whatever, nothing. It was kind of a shame or embarrassment. Now, if you have a problem, I know a lot of people who openly admit they were addicts or they were alcoholics, and they go get help. Why? Society has told them this. We need that. We need people who have that problem to be, no. It's not okay to take action on that. It's not. In no way, shape, or form. It's not okay to take action on it whatsoever. Go get help. You have a problem. And someone goes, there's no such thing as that. You're in a fantasy world. If you want to have that kind of relationship with a child, you have a problem. And society has to tell you that to your face and accept that it's true. Anyone who wants to say, no, they don't have a problem, you're the problem. That's a problem. So if we make it to where socially, which we differ, if you're an alcoholic, that's a problem. You shouldn't drink alcohol if you're an alcoholic. There are many people who can drink alcohol and have no problems at all. And they should enjoy it. Enjoy whatever you think. I'm sober, but that's because me. You should drink as much as you see fit. If you're an alcoholic, you should not drink. And since I should tell you, don't drink, you're an alcoholic. Go get some help. Go do something else. I think that's how you do it. What you will find people do that. Yes. So Patty says there are robot dolls for those people who have tendencies towards minors and lots of therapy available. Yes, you can go get help. You can go get help. I don't have a problem with that. Yes, you can go get help. All righty, let me grab some of these. Some more of these. There's so many of these. Grace says working class can relate to billionaires with gold toilets more than pompous upper middle class PhDs. Wow. Yeah, there's some truth to that. I think there's some truth to that. I think there is. That's funny. I think there's some truth to that. Yeah. All righty. Let me go down here. Some more of these. Dave says Don Jr. will be the Republican presumptive nominee by January 2028. Who will Don Jr.'s VP be? I have no idea. Why do you assume Don Jr.? Don Jr. has actually been this last year or so, which I think he's been very effective as. Don Jr. has been far more behind the scenes. He's been far more making things happen than he has been actually being in the front. My gut says he stays there. I think you're off on this one, Dave. I think he stays there. I do not think, if anything, he goes to VP, if anything. I think someone else will come on board. I do not see Trump to Trump. I don't see it. Even the last time we've had that, there was someone in between. Bush to Bush, someone in between. Adams to Adams, someone in between. Right? Adams was our second president, and then his son was the fifth. Is that right? Second and fifth, I think. Right? So two in between. Bush, same thing. Right? Bush, then Clinton, then Bush again. Right? So there's someone in between. So I don't see it, Dave. I think someone comes in between, and then Don Jr. comes in to save the day. That's what I think. That's my gut. That is my gut. Yeah. But we'll see. Let's see here. Nico says Newsom's podcast has me thinking he could crack the code and bring Dems back to earth, whether it's genuine or not. See, I'm telling you guys, I'm saying it. It's true. This thing he's doing is smart. It is a smart move for him. It is a smart move for him. Absolutely. So yes. John says Smith Sharpe, Spike Sharpe, Smith Sharpe, 2028. I appreciate all the Sharpes in there. I do. I appreciate all the Sharpes. I really do. Yes. Ganjan88 says, devil's advocate, why should Americans care if Democrats self-destruct, although we run the risk of Republicans going just as crazy as Democrats? You answer your own question, right? Single party rule is not good. When there's no one pushing the opposite way, they will go too far. And they will go too far because they're humans. That's why they go too far. Because humans, when there's no one stopping them, go too far. If the Democrats completely self-destruct, but let me be second. If there's no other party that pops up, look, if we all of a sudden get a great, libertarian party that shows up to fight the Republicans, or a great Green party that shows up to fight the Republicans, or whatever, a great forward party that shows up to fight the Republicans, I don't see any of those happening. But I hope I'm wrong, Gans, and I hope one of them do. That'd be amazing. Then let Democrats go away. Who cares? As long as someone's there to not let Republicans go crazy. I don't care who it is. I don't. I'm being very I don't care who it is. But I see it in every state where it's one party rule. They start going nuts. They start not caring. They start doing whatever they want. It's not, and I see it in my state, New York. I see it right now. So this is why we should care. Some other group has to keep the Republicans in check from going too far. Now, if the Republicans stay in charge for many years, they do. Fine. But someone's got to be there going, not that far. Not that far. Someone's got to be there. I would take any other party. At the moment, the only one I see is Democrats. That's why we should care. And it doesn't mean that I want Democrats to win elections. It doesn't mean I want Greens or Libertarians to win elections. It doesn't mean that I want that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying someone competent has to be there to push back on them in some way, shape, or form. Democrats are not that party now. That's the reason why you care. And they should win some elections to show they can win, right? You do want to keep fear. You want that party group to win some elections so that Republicans go, whoa. We can't go that far. Let's come back. Because you don't want Republicans becoming the opposite, right? You want them still being as common sense as possible. You want that. Texan spy historian over on Rumble says libertarians and third party in general are really needed. Yes. That uniparty war hawk and definitely the Dems need to go. Yes. That is correct. So yeah, whatever it takes, Ganjan, whatever it takes. That's my point. So yes. Shin says, I'm not advocating that we use the term map. I'm merely asking how we encourage them to get help. Is your answer to just do nothing because there already is help available? Is that to me? I'm that's to me. I tell you what my answer is. My answer is to deal with the same way we dealt with other issues that were similar to that, like alcoholism, right? If you look now at people who are addicts in any way, shape, or form, I think you do see, if you go back like 20, 30 years ago, this was something you would hide. Now, RFK Jr. announces to the world he used to be a heroin addict. He announces it to the world, right? I tell my family my mom was an addict. Yes. She went and got help. He went and got help. He's clean. He's sober. My mom was clean and sober before she passed. Yes. That's people bring it up. Lots of people bring it up. We want to make that the issue. That's how you do it. So yes. Straight Dan over on Rumble says, it's easy to see the need for opposition. Trump talked about giving cops more power and a death penalty. Cops' life has more value than my life. You heard me boo when he said death penalty. I agree completely, Straight Dan. That's my point. Do you want the Republicans, and some of you probably do, I don't, going to the point where, yeah, any law enforcement problem is death penalty. You punched a cop, death penalty. You punched a fireman, death penalty. You punched an ambulance driver, death penalty. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're talking. Exactly. That's what I don't want to happen, right? And you might go, well, shouldn't they get more pain or whatever? Even if you think that, I don't. I think assault is assault is assault. It doesn't matter who is assaulted. It's the same, no matter. That's my view. But say you disagree with me and you think that if you do it to a cop or a first responder, it should be worse. Okay. Do you want the government deciding that's a death penalty because they're mad because you, I don't know, some ambulance driver says you hit him even if they didn't? No, I don't want that. That's the kind of too far, straight down. You've read my mind. That's the kind of too far I don't want. I don't want all of a sudden you're accused of attacking a government employee, death penalty, right? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Exactly right. Yes. Sheridan says, I love police, have many families in law enforcement, but I support, particularly I support corrections officers. I've been talking about that forever. You know, I'm not anti-law enforcement. Never. Of course not. My father was in law enforcement. I'm not anti-law enforcement. It doesn't mean that the government should be inflicting the death penalty on people. I don't trust the government to inflict death penalty on anybody. And here's my best example. Anyone talks about death penalty, let me give you my best example I can give you. Best one possible. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer, lured people, tricked them, drugged them, kidnapped them, raped them, killed them, and ate them multiple times, premeditated. The evidence was in his fridge. He admitted it. The government did not give him death penalty. He was killed in prison by somebody, which I'm not unhappy about. He was shivved in prison. He did not get death penalty. If you're not going to give that guy the death penalty, then no one should get it. Premeditated multiple times, trick, kidnap, drug, RAPD, kill, and eat. Every bad, the worst of everything in one guy, utter proof, he admitted it. The body parts were in his fridge. DNA evidence, everything. No death penalty. There is no way the government should be able to do that. No way. No death penalty. No. That's my point. So yes. All righty. Michelle says, what do you think about the possibility of Biden never signing his name and everything was stamped so he may not have made any decisions? They're trying to invalidate him. It could be true. Could be true. I could see that as true. Yeah, I could definitely see that as true. 100% I could see it as true. Yeah. All righty. Ganjan says, I'm considering getting a firearm in case tariffs fail. Tariff is a high risk, high reward move. Agreed. It's a gamble. Look, it could work. Trump's gambles have worked so far. They've been pretty decent so far. But they're a gamble. I've been very forward. I'm scared of tariffs. I'm worried they could fail. Again, so far he's been good. So yeah. Gray says, it's like what Bill Maher said to the Dems. You lost the crazy contest to an actual crazy person. Yeah. There we go. Yes. Dave says, to be forward, Trump's ICE agents are harassing U.S. citizens. So once ICE starts harassing citizens with money, then Trump's plan will blow up in his face. It might, again, another part of going too far. What happens if Trump goes, ICE, do whatever you want. Just do it. I don't care. You know what? Like he said, arrest the gun, take the guns, due process later. What happens if, well, Trump wouldn't say it, but Holman might. What if Holman goes, arrest them all, due process later? What if that happens, right? That hasn't happened yet. They're not there yet. But if the Democrats collapse, could that happen? Yes, that could happen. Those are my worries. David says, with the continuous decline of Democrats' ability to reach the masses, my hope was the two-party system shift to being Republican versus Libertarians. Do you think that would create a more functional country? That would be amazing. I would love if libertarians were the ones who were trying to get Republicans to be more libertarian. Yes. That'd be amazing. I hope that happens. I hope that happens. But right now, Libertarian Party is not in position to do that. I hope it will be soon. I hope it will. It's just not there now. Last year, for those of you who are Libertarian watching, listening, was a terrible year for us. Libertarian Party got its butt kicked last year. Just true. It did. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being honest. It got its ass kicked last year. So now we got to somehow rebuild, and we're not there right now. I hope we can. I would like it to happen. Yes. I would like it to happen. Joseph over on LinkedIn. Yes, I'm live on LinkedIn. Says non-civil engagement is toddler behavior. Correct. We should be talking to each other 100% all the time. Yes, absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. John, thank you for being a member, says Alyssa Farah was on Bill Maher last night, and I think she'd make a good running mate for Newsom. What do you think? I agree. She's not bad. I agree. She's got some street cred from the right, street cred from the left. She's a decent speaker. I don't know if she's a policy wonk at all, but for a running mate, a good running mate. I agree. She'd be a good running mate. If Newsom grabs someone like her, yeah. Didn't she work for Trump? Yeah, she worked for Trump before. Yeah, it's a good choice. I completely agree. Yes, I completely agree. Yes. All right. Let me grab some more of these. Phil says, I think I'm getting the Sharpe Way on Crystal Radio. I hope so. That'd be amazing. Yes. Gene said, I didn't know what shadow banning was till it happened to me. Well, boy, did it happen to me. I felt it hard. It hammered the hell out of me. It wrecked me, right? It really did wreck me. Yes. And I wasn't ready for it, which is even worse. I had no defense because I wasn't ready for it. Yes. So Andrew says, if I weren't libertarian leaning, I'd go with American Solidarity. I like American Solidarity. I've had the people on my show. I've had their presidential candidates on my show. The problem is they don't have enough ballot access. They don't have enough infrastructure. They don't raise money. They don't raise money. Yes, that's the issue. That's the issue. Shin says, Larry, what do you think about the 19th century arguments regarding wage slavery? Do you believe jobs for most people force them into fundamentally totalitarian systems? I think hourly, I've been saying this for years, hourly jobs are terrible, shouldn't exist, are old school, have to go away. They're stupid. The idea of hourly wages is stupid. That is what crushes you. Wage slavery is hourly, trading your hours of time for dollars. It's the people who make the most money in the world, the people who are the happiest in the world. I'm not making this up. There's data on this. Who are the happiest, the wealthiest, who have the most freedom, the most autonomy, everything, do not get paid by the hour. I don't get paid by the hour. Getting paid by the hour is a terrible idea. You should be paid either a flat fee for doing work, or you should be paid for your results. One or the other. That's the way people should be paid. Unhappy people will be paid by the hour. They go, yeah, but lawyers, more and more lawyers are moving to flat fees. More and more doctors are trying to move to flat fees. More and more accountants are moving to monthly fees. Even you look at the tech industry, move to monthly fees. And the people who are the most unhappy, and this is, again, there's data on this, are the accountants and lawyers who do hourly fees because they're always fighting over hours, fighting over value. It's a terrible idea. Wage slavery is because of hourly work. Hourly work is a bad idea. We should have gotten away to. The only reason why we're still doing hourly work is because of government. I'm not making that up. That's the reason why. Because government likes it that way. Government is always backward. Hourly work should have gone away a long time ago. It is anachronism. It should not exist. It's harmful for everybody, and it makes you worth X dollars per hour. It's how it puts you in a spot of who's better or worse. It is a terrible idea. It only hurts. It should have gone away a long time ago. It's still here though, but it's not wage slavery. It isn't. If you can move out, that's the problem. If you can't move out, then you're in wage slavery. But if you can move out, and the problem with America right now is moving out is much harder than it used to be. It used to be much easier to move out of that. Now it's hard. So yes. Gray says, it takes a lot of money to create a job. Cost of welfare went up when people had to work for the check. Correct. If your goal is to just support, if that's your goal, you're right, Grace, write them a check. If that's your goal, I'm not saying that's my goal, but if that's your goal, Write him a check. Yes. Dave says, Larry, I remember the episode of The Jeffersons where a couple of the characters were discussing Negro versus colored versus black versus African American. Yes. And remember, if you're old enough, I don't know if anyone's really alive now. I mean, maybe. I don't know any black people I know like colored. But I'm sure at one point that the National, Association for the Advancement of Colored People, right? That at one point that was a thing. I don't know anybody who likes or wants colored. I still know some old black men who are okay with Negro still, right? I prefer black. That's just me. But look, I'm not mad if you call me African American. I'm not mad at all. If you see, like, my Wikipedia page says that Larry's an African American, blah blah blah, whatever. It's fine. I don't mind. So yeah, but I don't mind either way. But the point is, people should be called what they want to be called. So yes. Phil says Libertarian Party to replace Democratic Party as second party. That could work. Vivek says Libertarians should replace Democrats. That could work. Ryan Murphy says Shanahan, Sharpe, Spikes. I would take a Shanahan Sharpe ticket any day of the week. Yes. If she actually wants to make that run, I'm in. I'd support her. She called Ron Paul the Cicero of the modern day. I'm in. Yes. So if she wants to run, if she's listening, you need a running mate. I'm in. I'm happy to support that. I am happy to support that. So, all righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Some more of these. There's so many of these guys. I can't grab all of them. I do apologize. Josh, thank you for being a member. Both parties have shifted left, with the Democrats going to the far left, Republicans shifting to being slightly left of center. Depends upon the part of the Republican Party right now. The issue with the Republican Party right now is the Republican Party is right now a party of everybody not Democrats. So I think there's part of the party, yes, that's true, but there's a part that's actually hardcore conservative. But there's a part that is kind of left of center. You're right. There's a part that's everywhere. The Republican Party is all over the place right now. It's really, and this is good and bad, it's centered on Trump. That's good because it keeps everyone together, centered on him. It's bad that it's centered on him. So I could say yes to that, Josh, and no. Depends on what part of the Republican Party you're looking at right now. So yeah, more of the Maha part of the Republican Party, a lot of that is center-left. That's true. A lot, not all, but a lot of them are former Democrats. So a lot of that center-left is true. But then you look at maybe like the Bannons, they're almost like conservative socialists. Like they're a little bit weird now. They've like changed kind of how they think. And you've got the guys, who are hardcore conservatives, right? So, and you still have the Thunes of the world who just, they're just corporate. And you still got Graham, who's just a neocon. So the Republican Party is really, I could say yes to and no to that, depending on who you're talking to. So yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Grace says, did you hear about the firing squad that executed an admitted murderer in North Carolina? Yeah. Look, if the guy wants to die, I'm more open to it, right? If he's like, I don't want life in prison, please put me out of my misery, I'm more open to it in theory, but I'm not open at all to the government deciding that. I don't believe they can do it right. Right? I don't believe that they can do it right. That's the problem. So anyway. All righty. Genji says, you get the Stephen Miller, who's probably all about the failed Austrian Painters Party. Yes, Miller is as conservative as they get. Correct, right? The party is everywhere. That wasn't true years ago, but that really is the party. Shan says, that's why I was surprised when I started saying people of color. People of color just makes black people not important. That's all it does. Because it includes like brown people and such. What people of color says is not white, right? If I was white, I would hate people of color. I'd be like, man, everybody but me. That's what that means. It means everybody but white people. That's what it means. And what makes me angry is it then makes black people the same as everybody else. Well, no. Asians are different. Hispanics are different. Blacks are different. Not better or worse. I mean, clearly I'm better just because I'm me. Kidding, obviously. But my point is, we're not the same is my point, right? Even South Asians, right? Indians aren't the same as Indians, Pakistanis, Southern Asians. They aren't the same as East Asians. People of color makes it's everybody but white. I can't stand that. But you're right. It's a thing. It's how it works. And it checks a box. And it checks the box. Absolutely correct. It checks the box. So yes. So that's a big issue. Guys, I'm gonna ask you one more time if you could please click the button known as like. It really does matter. I bug you all the time, and it really does matter. Check that box, click that button that says like. It is important. If you don't do it, how are we gonna grow? And how are we gonna let more people decide? How are we gonna get more people to see this and to see value in this if we don't click the button known as like, if we don't share this to the best of our ability? If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Check, follow, all those things matter. It gets the rhythm, Al Gore going. It does matter. If you can become a member, please do so. $49 per month. Remember a rule. If you got $10 million this week, you have to become a member. So if any of you got $10 million this week, you have to become a member. All right. I don't know if any of you did. I hope you all did. But if any of you did, you have to become a member. That's kind of the rule. So please do that if you would. It does matter tremendously, every little bit. Guys, I will not be on tomorrow, but I will be on Monday. And of course, Tuesday, my radio show, and we'll keep going. And I have some guests coming on next week. I'm doing some guest shows. I've been trying to come up. My team's been bugging me about collabs. I'm going to try to do some collabs and get some guests. I'll just be doing some of that, not just me yapping all the time. I know you love me yapping, but I will also be doing other things besides that. When we are done, please do me a favor. Please tell me what you think of UBI. Tell me what you think of UBI in the comments after this. I will respond. I will see you all very soon.